Hello, I'm Joe Wright, and this is Notes on a Scene for Darkest Hour. So here's Winston Churchill driving in the back of his car. He's lost his matches, and we'll see where the matches end up in a moment. That out there is blue screen, and the background was added later. The whole lighting aesthetic of the film is kind of quite noirish. You just had a very soft light coming through the window, and that was about it. I don't think there was much fill. I think there was probably something coming through the back window as well to create that kind of slight little bit of back three-quarter light there. Gary's quite a skinny guy, and he certainly doesn't have a jowls like that. So the makeup in this scene, the prosthetics goes like there, like there, like there, and then there's a nose piece there. And this is obviously a wig. He'd spend 4 hours of makeup every morning and then an hour getting out of makeup in the evening. So I literally didn't see Gary for the 3 months of the shoot. A large narrative arc of the film is about Winston's connection or disconnection with the populace. I stretched time in the opening couple of shots with the slow motion, and then we do these very, very quick montage shots, kind of skipping through temporal reality to create the impression of his disappearing. I think this was about 200 extras on this day. It's really about the blocking and making sure that the frame is constantly alive and interesting. Here, as the pressure of the war is mounting, I wanted to get a sense of people running for shelter. That's why I brought the rain in.
Do you know how to use this thing?
Yes, sir.
How do I get to Westminster?
Westminster, the District Line East, one stop.
District Line East, one stop. Well, that doesn't sound so hard.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I like this shot. The camera's moving, the elevator does not move. And as the camera was reaching its top jib position, all the extras were told to go like that to give a sense that the elevator has just come to an abrupt stop. That sort of thing tickles me. I really like her face as well. That's kind of one of those moments when you arrive on set and you start kind of placing all the supporting artists, the extras, and you find the right faces. So I've kind of this guy had a good nose, so I specifically asked him to kind of stand in foreground profile, silhouetted, and then we saw this girl's face and thought she had a rather lovely face, and so asked her to look up into the light. And so you kind of play with what's available on the day. Camera is on this new piece of kit called a stable eye, which is basically a very small rig that can move through very small spaces, operated by the grip, and it just reduces any camera shake, and I think might well be taking over from the Steadicam.
Do you know how to use this thing?
Yes, sir.
I asked her who her favourite celebrity was, and said, imagine that you've just met them. It's not really appropriate for her to curtsy at that moment either. It's like she does that out of nervousness.
The memorandum is titled Suggested Approaches to Italy, and is as follows.
So again, the camera's on a stable eye mounted on a dolly so that it can get through this small gap in the table. And finally, we see where Winston's matches are. So we start with a wide and then slowly move in and in and in, closer and closer, till we reveal the matchbox, which we've seen his wife give him in a much earlier scene. I love tableaus. I like the kind of figures in space, and I I'm a fan of kind of Renaissance painting where figures kind of take up a certain proportion of the frame, leaving the kind of top third of frame free. So this is the guy here who's going to be reading the speech. It's kind of the darkest hour for the British government. They're discussing the possible treaty with Germany, and so you're just trying to create a sense of the despondency. This guy here, Halifax, played by Stephen Delane, is really the architect of this peace deal. So it's just kind of trying to create quite a classical frame, really. I guess I'm a bit of a classicist.
We understand that he desires the solution of certain Mediterranean questions, and if he will state in secrecy what these are, France and Great Britain will at once do their best to meet his wishes.
Winston is often portrayed as being someone who kind of is slow and lugubrious, and actually what we found when we were looking at footage of Winston was this kind of dynamic, kinetic energy.
France and Great Britain will at once do their best to meet his wishes.
The train is not there. The train is CGI. I could only actually afford 2 or I think maybe 3 shots with the train, so I had to think about how I could most economically show the idea of the train coming into the station. I couldn't actually put a camera on the platform to see the front of the train because we couldn't afford to build digitally the front of the train. So we came up with this solution.
So, this is the underground!
He's looking for his matches, and the idea for that was a very late one. It only came to me during shooting that he should be looking for his matches. It's a kind of momentary coincidence. You know, if he hadn't lost his matches, he might not have got out of the car. If he hadn't gotten out of the car, he wouldn't have gone into the underground. So that was one scene from Darkest Hour. I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, thanks very much.